I want to plan the perfect year of snowmobiling with racing, my family, and for the snowmobiling industry. But every year never goes to plan until I realized that the years that don't go to plan help build a better one every year. I'm gonna go over what a perfect year looks like, dive into kind of what actually happens, and I'll be very honest and open and transparent about that. The goal is for this video to give you a little bit of insight into what my year should look like, but actually does look like. And if you're very interested in snowmobile racing or the content creation or sponsorship, social media, all that jazz around snowmobiling, then this video is for you. I break up the year into quarters, but it's kind of like April to April. April to April is my year. The true snowmobile season is November to April, but snowmobiling never ends for me. It's year round. What I focus on in May, June, and July is recovery. It's the end of the season. I finish at the end of April every year racing. I'm exhausted. I've been just constantly traveling many hours and getting lots of time on the sled and constantly working on sleds and trying to produce content. So it's time to slow down. Over the past 3 years, I've actually never slowed down. I've always just finished in April and then immediately gone right into the next year. And I really felt burnt out this year. I was very low motivation, very low energy to even just spend quality time with my family. It was a hard recovery this year. The 2 weeks into May were a real struggle. It was this kind of like seasonal depression, you could say, coming off snowmobile season. But family time, quality family time is huge. Go out riding bikes with my 3-year-old son, stay up late and watch movies with my wife, have a few drinks, that kind of stuff. Find some good quality connection time. I do media summaries. So I have these budgets or like proposals that I send out, further in the year on content that I plan to do for sponsors, and I get in return product or financial support or something like that. That's just how I do my deals when it comes to like sponsorship. It's really not sponsorships. It's more of just business deals. Pull all of the content that I created and I build the summary out on the performance. I write some notes, overall performance for the year, April to April, on my social media. Add some pictures to it. If they're race result driven relationships, I'll include race results. If they're not, then we just focus on what the goal was at the beginning of the year, and I put it together in a nice little package and ship it off. I'm still working on those actually this year just because I'm so far behind in wanting to focus on family and rest. I still have a handful that I want to get done, but I'm giving myself the full first quarter to get that stuff done this year. I do have some sponsorship stuff that's due by the end of July. So actually the day that I'm recording this, the following week, is going to be a sponsorship focused week. So finishing up media summaries, reaching out to companies, filling out applications, sending them in, all that good fun jazz. I start planning content. What am I gonna do next year? I don't wanna do the same thing over and over again. Every year is different and in a good way. This kind of aligns with that opening sentence that I talked about, where every year kind of builds on the next, and I start to really narrow in on my focus of what I want my content to be around. And I start the planning phase in May and June. I really have something formal in place in July, and that helps me with creating proposals going into the rest of the season with sponsors. And I start working on my sled and my trailer in the middle of June. I started June 12th this summer on getting sleds put back to stock. I have a 1,000-to-1 series where I'm gonna see if it's 1,000 hours of work for 1 hour of riding. It seems way over exaggerated, but it feels like it, and it'll be hilarious and cool to find out if it actually takes 1,000 hours for 1 hour. When it comes to August, September, and October, my second snowmobile quarter, I finalize a lot of sponsorship deals or relationships. I like to leave some openings for anything new. I have made the mistake in the past of just go, 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 always just have everything locked up every second of my day, busy with something, and then something new pops up and I just get discombobulated, or I don't have time, or I have to drop other things and I feel bad dropping other opportunities or other ideas, and it makes me feel inconsistent. So this year, kind of like dialing back. I've got a few big things I'm focusing on, and specifically in long form content, changing up some content structure this year and see how it works going into the season. Heydays is in September. I've been trying to consistently get to Heydays every year. It's a great way to get faces to names, connect with existing or new sponsors or brands. I get to hang out at the Arctic booth as a racer, which is really cool. I get to see all the employees, and this time I'll be able to reconnect with a lot of the marketing team that I got to hang out with and some other riders at the Model Year 27 shoot, which was stupidly fun. There are other events too outside of Heydays. There's the Epping Grass Drags in New Hampshire. I've been going to that. Granite State Power Equipment always has their Arctic booth set up. I'll have some other brands like Brap Brap that I'll be hanging out at the booth, help them sell some wraps, talk and mingle with other like-minded snowmobilers. It's always an absolute blast, and I love going. I'll have sleds on display, hence why this wrap up sleds, quite literally, I have to put a wrap on one of the sleds, but the sleds will be back together, mainly because I always look to sell my sleds at this time, and kind of included in that is like finalizing budget. So paying off any outstanding parts bills, paying off anything else, like if I have a credit card balance or something, pay that down, and just get ready for these next 2 quarters that can be very aggressive on the budget if there's anything unexpected that comes up. But I also want to be able to support projects that I've planned ahead of time, and so I need to make sure that the budget's all set. And selling sleds and buying sleds, it's a very, very small margin when it comes to racing, and that's why I'm doing this content. I'm hoping this content will help fund itself. So anything I create with content will support whatever I create for you guys as viewers. And then on the side, I'll also race snowmobiles because I love snowmobiling is my passion. I'm trying to build something off of it and then have 2 sustaining things, which would be really cool. October, things get super, super busy. I've always been stuck waiting for my new snowmobile to be delivered, and it never does come on time. I don't know what it is being here in Maine. The sleds are usually done in September, October, and they ship them out, but it's usually not until December I get sleds, and it's ever since I started racing, I never get my sled until December, which is really hard because our first race is in the middle of January, but I'm segueing into the next quarter, so let's get into it. November, December, and January, we're in the thick of it at this point. November is, I'm wanting to do sled prep. If I don't have the sled, like I mentioned in the second snowmobile quarter, then I will focus on content in my trailer, maybe, get some work done on my truck. Make sure that thing is reliable as I'm trailering to races. Any last minute sponsorship stuff is getting wrapped up at this point. If anything comes in super late, nothing ever runs perfect. Businesses don't always meet deadlines or, budget timelines or whatnot. So stuff just always, it's a slow spinning wheel. The marketing wheel is a very slow spinning wheel. And so I'm kind of catching up with things or, trying to finish things last minute with emails or communication with brands. I start focusing on current content. So the content I've kind of been planning is starting to go into effect now because we're getting into the actual snowmobile season. I find September content starts to blow up and do well, and then November and December snowmobiling content does really, really well. And then also if you have monetization, that's where you get a lot of monetization, a big bump in monetization. From September to December is where I make a lot of my monetization revenue. So I make sure I'm really consistent on content during those times. If I've gotten my sled into December, it's probably set up for racing, or I spent time setting it up for racing, and then I'm out testing. And testing really at first is break-in miles. Just putting the sled through heat cycles, getting initial miles on it. You need over the years, it's been like 300 miles. So, I can do easily 100 in one day, 50 if it's, the very first day. I'll have my setup in the sled and I'm just getting back comfortable, especially if there's minimal snow, but there's ice. We're out drifting those sleds around corners, just trying to get comfortable with high speed drifting and ice Le Mans racing. And then in January is our first race this season. So just prepping for that, I have drills that I've been doing every year, training as well. My physical training is a little bit more mental and long endurance stuff that just help build mental capacity, where over the summer I've just been really building up strength and trying to bulletproof myself so I'm injury proof. Where I start to lack during the third and fourth quarter in fitness, I'm pretty, train twice a week rather than 4 to 6 times a week. The strength and bulletproofingness over the summer is what I really lean on when I'm grinding away, working on sleds and racing. But first race is always middle of January. It's pretty hectic leading up to that. If I end up, fingers crossed, I get to do model year 28 photo shoot with Arctic Cat, that'll be somewhere in some place, not in Maine during that time. So it's nice to know ahead of time. I have found out ahead of time in Snowmobile quarter 2 if I'm doing that or not. That's where anything new I leave open. Now you kind of know where I learned that from. As my content and social media grows, so does my capacity of things that I do. And so I just need to prioritize what's really important. And I spend my time in Snowmobile quarter 1 doing that. For Snowmobile quarter 4, February, March, April, we're in the thick of it. We're actually getting towards the end. So February and March are my last months of cross-country racing. The key for this is consistency. Finding week in and week out that I'm doing all the right things, from eating right, sleeping, getting in that training that I can, any stretching or mobility, finding connection with friends and family, not just being stuck in my trailer, working on sleds, forcing myself to have to go out and go testing. Like, I'm very consistent with the schedule. I really struggled with this last year because I had a lot of curveballs thrown at me last minute. So I was just juggling a ton and doing way too much, 16-hour days of trying to do content, get a sled ready, ride, spend time with the family, eat, sleep, train. It really, really added up, and it was a struggle. February and March were really, really challenging. I was still able to I found the fun in it, but I didn't feel like I was having fun, which really stinks. So these are the months where you kind of have to sit back and have fun. And my goal is for the content creation, doing vlogs or some specific content with friends and family, because they're on board with it now. They realize this is what I do and what I'm capable of with this stuff. So people jump on board and they're they love it, especially in North Star Cross Country. Buddy Collins, who runs that series, him and his wife, Charlie, and their family and their friends and family, which are my friends and family, we all, we understand content now, and it just makes things so much more fun. And then you have this cool timestamp of it. It's on the internet forever, and it helps bring out some creativity. Balance. So again, kind of in line with consistency. The balance is way more focused on making sure I'm not focusing way too much on one thing. So if I'm focusing way too much on, let's say, setup, for example, I'm gonna lack in other places, like actually not riding the sled. I'm working on it too much, trying to find a setup where I should just be out on the sled and ride. Like, the setup's not gonna be perfect. I have 131 Racing and Shock Tech kind of collaborating with me going into the season with that in mind. I'm also gonna be working with Woody's Traction. I've chatted a little bit with Rick Teedy on, traction products that you can run in terrain as well as on the ice that, aren't the best at either, but they're also not the worst. So finding balance, quite literally, in my day-to-day with what I'm doing, as well as the sled itself. Pretty cool. I'm excited to see how that goes. And then grind. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard. There's days where I'm gonna be tired, but hopefully I've got enough sleep, I've eaten well, I've hydrated properly. I've got the right people around me that are like-minded and supportive of my grind, and where, I'll be putting in long days, but getting stuff done. it stinks, but it feels like I never have enough time in the day. And I think everyone feels that, but you do have time in the day. I'm now like making 2 YouTube videos a week. I was struggling with just doing one, but I found a version of things that I want to share, and they're probably not going to do the best on social media, but that's not the point. It's the people, you that are watching this video, that find value in it. This is who this content is for, and that right there provides me value, and I know this helps the industry in some way, shape, or form. Is it make or break, or going to really tip the scales and make the snowmobile industry better than motocross? No, it's not going to, but it's going to do something. It gives me a good outlet to share my thoughts and my experience. I want to provide value to you, and if this is a way I can do it, then I'm going to. It just takes a lot of time. Having to record these videos, go and edit them, learn how to edit, learn how to take videos, learn what camera equipment to have, what microphones to have. It all takes time, and every year that I do the wrong thing, it ends up forcing me to do the right thing the next year. And what's really cool is that I've learned that from racing when I first started racing, and I'm going to make another whiteboard video on that. There's cool YouTube videos of POV, your life, in stages as a snowmobile racer. Keep an eye out for a video that's coming out like that. But I learned this, like, go in with the expectation that the year's not going to be perfect. What goal do you have? And then shoot for it. And then recap end of the season. Is it actually what you want to do? Is it, big picture? What's that look like? I hope this gives you some idea of my year. It's very high level. Like, I could dive into details, but this would be like a 4-hour video. I don't have time for that. I kind of just tried to pick some, like surface topic points and give you just a little bit of insight. And it's definitely more than I have shared. So hopefully you found some interest in this, and I appreciate you watching. Catch you in the next video. If you want to see more videos like this, check it out in the playlist here. And if you want to see my more recent video, check it out right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.